Hello, I'm Marilyn and welcome to Lead Your Day. Down-to-earth chats with fascinating people dotted with short, inspirational episodes from me, all with an inside-out approach to not just growing your business, but being the conscious leaders our worlds are absolutely craving to follow. In a nutshell, I empower women to lead, and that starts with leading your day. Hello and welcome to Lead Your Day. I'm Marilyn and today's episode is just me. I'm talking about one of those things that really gets me riled up in business. Now, every time my dear old dad calls me, or I call him, and I think I've shared this before on the podcast, but his very first question never fails to be, "Are you working hard, Marilyn?" Honestly, how does he want me to answer that? One of the loneliest parts of being a leader of your own business is that kind of, I guess it's a type of advice, but also things that they say to us like, "What is it that you do again?" Or, "Wouldn't it be easy to get a real job? You just seem to work so hard." And I know there's that pressure to hustle. And it has become that kind of word that's, we've almost given it a status symbol or we've made it into a key element of business. But here's the thing, hustling is not the solution to making more money in your business. It's a belief that just isn't healthy. Now, I understand why you think hustle is something essential to having your own business or just getting ahead in life because it's just so commonly used everywhere. I mean, the hashtags and the shareable posts and the memes on the social still promote hustle as a kind of backbone of entrepreneurism and getting ahead. Just go over to Instagram and do a search of some hashtags. Put in hustle. It has 27.4 million posts. I sometimes think Instagram invented that word. Or, and this is one I really hate, the hashtag hustle hard. It has 4.1 million posts on Instagram. And I know that even if we give lip service to knowing that time out and self-care, all that good stuff is good for us, I know we still feel guilty if we take a break, especially if our business sales drop during that time. And we automatically put it down, even subconsciously, to the fact that we'd stopped hustling. But guess what? It's just not true. Not everyone who works hard has a successful business. And in fact, 90% of women in business will fail in 5 years, sadly. And of those who don't fail, 88% will never reach 100,000. Oh my gosh, even though they are working their buns off. And to discredit the time off thinking, I know plenty of women who take months off their business and sales don't drop at all. So it's got nothing to do with hustling. And hustling only really leads to burnout, stress, frustration, putting on weight from all that cortisol, debt, discouragement. And I know plenty of hustlers who are still hustling and not getting anywhere, and plenty of business owners who take time out and their businesses still flourish. So hustle isn't the missing ingredient, despite what that quote you saw on Instagram or Facebook said yesterday. So take someone like Gary Vee, who is the poster child of the word hustle. He almost overuses the word, but listen closely to what he says because, well, he also says that self-awareness is the most important quality of an entrepreneur. Now, we think his success is because he hustles, but actually the real success of Gary Vee isn't about him working hard at all. It's because he's got a clear vision. And he's doing what he's incredibly passionate about and what he finds meaningful and what he gets fulfillment from. His success comes from his ability to just take action and that personal magnetism he has and the energy he gives to his business. Now, as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, from a quantum science perspective, when you fuse a clear intention with an elevated emotion, oh, wow, that's when we are in full creative mode. And really, that's what Gary Vee does to perfection. But also look at his audience. Gary Vee is speaking to youth who haven't yet formed a purpose-filled work ethic. If you look up his YouTube video on the definition of hustle, you'll see what I mean. Very interesting. But do us women seriously need to hear that hustle message? Look, I've found that women in business are naturally high performers and hard workers by nature. Most of us did it for years, helping others build their businesses. And if a woman in business is also a mum, even more so, hardworking by nature. You just got to do it. So why do I believe that the hustle culture isn't working? Or in fact, it can be, I think, downright dangerous. Let's go to the dictionary, will we? I know it's become a synonym of having your own business, but let's look at that word for a moment. Hustle means to force or push one's way, shove, elbow, thrust. To move quickly, that one's not so bad. But listen to this. It means to pressure someone to doing something, coerce, hound, pester, nag. To devote serious and sustained effort to, drudge, grind, labour, slog, plug, strive, bang away. It also means to cheat, deceive or defraud someone for personal gain, to push roughly, to take advantage of the kindness or generosity of others, to bother or cause distress in someone, to manipulate, to sell your soul for something, to illegally take possession of something, and to practice the world's oldest profession. None of these definitions are conducive to thriving. And even if you ignore these definitions and only use the work hard definition, I still say hustling doesn't make you money. It's a very masculine rhetoric. And let's face it, most of the self-help industry was written by men. We're seeing women's point of view now, thanks to people like Brene Brown and Glennon Doyle, but most of the personal development world is just a rehash of what has been written before them, the same old habits and willpower and hustle. Also, it's been handed down and reinforced by a work-hard generation. The boomer generation handed this nicely down to the Generation X, who have been teaching it to the millennials and the Gen Ys and so on. But remember, the boomers got it from their parents who were in the Great Wars and the Depression. So am I telling you to work longer hours? Absolutely not. Most businesses do require a lot of extra hours to reach certain milestones. And I personally get a lot of satisfaction from building my business. But I believe you have to do the work more than work hard. And there's a subtle difference there about focusing on priorities, hey? What I'm talking about not doing is that grind, that hard work mentality, efforting, striving, feeling like if I don't do it, someone else will. Because that comes from a lack of basic trust. I heard a great quote only just yesterday. Both fear and faith demand that you believe in something you cannot see. So you get to choose. So the hustle can often come from the fear side of things. So I'm talking about letting go of the belief that hustling will make you money. So what do I believe instead? Well, I believe there's a different way to grow your business to just hustling. Firstly, it's about our internal operating system. Now, hustling is great if it helps you get out of a victim or a reactive internal operating system. It gets you emotionally up out of the dirt, so to speak. But the goal isn't to stay there. The best operating system is one that flows, or what I call the leader state. So it goes like this, and I've shared this in previous podcast episodes. There's victim, where majority of people live in, and we can dip in and out of that as well, victim thinking, or an operating system. Then hustling, where we think, I don't want to be that victim anymore, so I'm going to pull myself up by the bootstraps. Gosh, that's a funny saying, isn't it? And I'm going to work hard and get out of that victim state. But then there's a better state to be in, and that's that leader state, or that flow state that creates and attracts what you want. So victim, hustler, or leader, which one are you? And we can dip in and out of those during a day or during an afternoon, but what state does our energy operate in that most of the time? So firstly, it's about an internal operating system. You don't want to stay in hustle mode. And secondly, and this is what I teach inside Lead Your World, it's about having the 3 core elements of our business world in place. Much like the makeup of our planet, there's an inner core, an outer core, and a mantle. Now, the crust is what others see of the success of our lives or the success of our business or otherwise, but it's what goes on beneath the surface that is the real creating force of what we see on the outside. And I love following hashtags or channels about the earth. I just love volcanoes, and I love that, how it can create earth and change earth and how the tectonic plates move and what it affects. But it's all, what we see on the surface is all to do with what's been going on inside. And much of the teaching and the workshops and all the things that we do, it's really just focusing on, the outside crust of what we see rather than often what's going on the inside. So we can work hard and hustle and try and move those, stones and those rocks around as much as we want. But if we don't have those 3 core elements, then we are expending all that hustle energy and not making any money and not growing our business. And we feel like we're in a hamster wheel and so on and so forth. And we don't want to be a hamster wheeler or a hustler, do we? We want to be a leader. Now, I'll actually be chatting more about these 3 core elements inside some upcoming free open workshops, but essentially here they are. The first part is leading your wow, or what I call leading your wow. Let me explain. Wow is a fusion of knowing your calling, your why story. It's about finding your magnetism, or what I call your wow archetype. And it also includes defining your niche and your offer. And it's the inner core of your world. It's solid. It, like the Earth's inner core, it gives us that solidity. And the cure to clarity that is absolutely essential is to get that inner core clear first, or sorted. Because too many people start with the outer before the inner. And even I did. I wasted years because I didn't have that clarity. And the next core element is leading yourself, leading self. Now, this is the magnetic, flowing, liquid core of your world, and includes knowing, not knowing about, but truly knowing with a capital K, your personality, how to lead your mind and your emotions, and the productivity cures. You need to stop being, overwhelmed and overworked. And interestingly, like the Earth's outer core, it's liquid, it's magnetic. And it has a lot to do with our stability and the gravity and those things that keep us stable, interesting enough, leading ourselves. And the third core element is leading your impact. Most, business education only really deals with portions of this element, like marketing. But leading your impact is about leading your whole business, being a business leader, not just a marketer. It's about clear messaging that attracts the right audience who are ready to buy, and it's about marketing strategy that doesn't make selling icky, and it's about business strategies that are right for you, your personality, your business type, and includes leading your team, and it's the mantle of your world. Now, all successful entrepreneur leaders have these 3 elements in their world. And I find when someone isn't seeing the success they desire, it's often because one of these 3 elements is missing. Now, for example, they spend thousands, and we all have, on the latest live launching strategy or 3-part video strategy or some online clickety platform to set up a sales funnel. But there's a disconnect with what they're selling or they're calling, or they're just not clear on who they're marketing to or what their niche is. There's no right niche. It's just, is that the one for you? Their products might be incredible. And I talk to women all the time. They have amazing products, but it's their messaging that's letting them down. It's not connecting with people's hearts. It might sound good, but they don't want to cross that line and go, I just have to have that. And then they wonder why they aren't selling. And then they bag out themselves and they're down about it and they think they're a failure. Or if they have all the marketing ideas, but their fears of rejection or comparisonitis, it's keeping them stopping from launching. And I've been there lots of times. We procrastinate, we find distractions, and we justify to our brains that I'm doing something really important here, but you're actually just putting things off. So then we rush into our next sales campaigns only to get a couple of sales, and that reinforces the self-belief that, well, perhaps we weren't hustling hard enough. Or, even worse, we say to ourselves, perhaps I'm not cut out to be a business owner. So, do you want to keep operating the old way and hustle? And keep sharing those hustle posts on Instagram and feeling kind of cool about it because, oh gosh, I'm contributing to this, inspirational, motivational thing that goes on? Or do you want to keep working hard? Because working hard will actually produce you a result. It might tire you out, but that's how the material work. If you push a big rock and you have the right mechanical gear to do it, it will move. Or do you want to be someone who evolves from that hustle state? And not only have your nervous system thank you, but you'll see the growth in your business start to flow as you utilize the right energy.